We back and better, man, with season 2, episode 1 of Perfecting Progression, man. I definitely appreciate who I'm collaborating with. Quick shout out to One Gold Media, and also a shout out to a number of my guests that was on season 1. But again, I'm ecstatic, excited to be back with doing a podcast and delivering high quality content for you guys. So on today's episode. Definitely got a special guest for you guys. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, but today we are definitely in a beautiful establishment of V3 Sports Fitness Sports Facility. But definitely, I'm gonna pass the mic on over to my guy Malik. He can definitely introduce himself, and
Yeah,
again, I definitely appreciate you, Malik, for being on the platform, my guy.
of course, man. I'm honored to be here. Malik Rucker, Northside native. We're right here on Plymouth and Lindale at the V3 Center in North Minneapolis. And it's a pleasure to be here. I get the honor to serve as executive director of V3 Sports. And I'm blessed and honored to be able to bring opportunity to the community.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And I guess with me kind of getting things going specifically, I always wanted to know the significance, before we kind of hop into me asking questions and kind of having our conversation, the significance of V3. Like, where did that name come from?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you that question.
So we actually started off back in 2007.
Mm.
So we were a program and we're a nonprofit. So
Yeah.
we started off back in 2007, and our founder Erica was a swim coach at the YMCA on Broadway,
Yep.
which isn't too far from here. The YMCA went through a change and they made the Y Youth Only Center.
Yep.
And when they did that, they had to remodel the space, and it had shut down for several months
Mm-hmm.
to be renovated.
Yep.
And during that time, the parents of the swim team and the swim program went to Erica and said, "We need you to continue this on. Like,
Yeah.
this can't just stop here." And Erica took that challenge and ran with it and started a triathlon team.
Yep.
So V3 stands for Victory in 3, Run, Bike, Swim.
Okay.
And very non-traditional sport for Northside
Yep.
and Black kids in general. And she brought them along with her on her triathlon journey and did it for several years. 50 kids a summer program, traveling, competing nationally. Actually won a national championship in triathlon.
Yep.
Northside kids, we did it with the free bikes and the
Yeah.
big swim trunks and all that, and everybody else, they had them $2,000 bikes.
Yep. Yep.
And what happened was, as we went through the program, it always became apparent that there's a lack of physical building infrastructure around health, wellness, and water safety
Yep.
in North Minneapolis. And there's many great programs. There's so many great programs, but not always the space.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about it like, where do I go get on the treadmill? Where do I, find a bench press?
Yep.
Or go for a swim?
Yep.
And it wasn't that access in North Minneapolis, 60,000 residents and not a treadmill in sight.
Mm-hmm.
And we want a healthy community. So
For sure.
that's kind of the origin of V3, and it
Yep.
went from that program to seeing that there's a lack of physical infrastructure
Yep.
to how can we create a space and place with community
Mm-hmm.
to be an asset to not only the Northside residents, but to the state and the region.
Yep. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. And I think what made me ask that question is because coming into this, episode, I wanted to kind of be unique with, finding 3 different like terms that kind of started with the, with a V letter word,
Right,
So I'm like
yeah.
V3. I'm not sure what he might tell me what it stood for.
Yeah.
So I kind of came into this podcast wanted to do a little bit, doing something different a little bit. And, given, I guess, in this first space of what I was going to talk about, is a word vitality. And the word vitality, what that means is ability to live, grow, and develop. So I know I met you, which we're going to talk a little bit more about, but I met you back in, I want to say November of 2023, and I was through another connection. But after I kind of got around you and understood your personality and your aura, I could already tell, you was just kind of in that space of like continuous growth, continuous improvement, trying to develop something. And this is what you're doing here
Yeah.
at the facility or at V3, which is great. It's going to be something, I can definitely see that's going to be a pivotal piece, for the community. I definitely see that. So with me kind of giving some of that about the word vitality, talking a little bit more about you being a Minnesota native. So again, like I
Yeah.
met you back in November through my guys from Detroit. You know, we go talk a little bit more about how that connection kind of came about, but kind of tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
Yeah.
You know, being here in Minneapolis. I know we know each other, but I think this is going to be more of a space where I really kind of get
Yeah.
to know you, you know, more and more from a upbringing standpoint, being in Minneapolis.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm a North Side kid. I
Mm-hmm.
grew up um, utilizing all the programs and spaces and places in North Minneapolis, man. And like I said, there's so many opportunities and programs here. I was an Oak Park kid,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't far from here. Out of school time, like the Boys and Girls Club upstairs, I was at Oak Park Neighborhood Center.
Yep.
I was running around there, um, and I was a PAL kid, so I
Mm-hmm.
played football with PAL.
Yep.
Um, I played basketball with the Hustlers. I ran track with Hospitality House right down the street from here,
Mm-hmm.
and was blessed and um, with great parents
Mm-hmm.
who emphasized community and instilled morals and values in me that I was able to, navigate this world really
Mm-hmm.
in a pretty gracious way. So, North Minneapolis has its challenges, but
Yep.
there's a lot of beautiful things that are happening here, and I have some of my greatest friends, my best friends are all North Siders, and
Mm-hmm.
um, it's just a space where you probably feel the same way like about Detroit of like it's
Mm-hmm.
just like it's hard to explain. You got to be
Yep.
North Side. There's
Gotta
so
be here.
much North Side pride,
Yep.
and people love the North Side. I
Yep.
mean, and it's a blessing to grow up here and be around so many great people that care about you in these programs, and was able to utilize sport to end up going to play collegiate football.
Yep. 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 And one thing that kind of stood out to me, you know, me asking you about your upbringing and things of that nature, especially with me being, you know, me being from where I'm from, Detroit, and you being, you know, being from North Minneapolis, there's definitely a lot of similarities there. And
Yeah.
talking about those challenges, you know, so
Hmm.
like when we talk about North Minneapolis citizens, people being over here from the community, from the city, kind of talk about some of those challenges. What might those challenges be as far as I guess more so specifically? I think it would be more so like limited resources, you know,
Yeah.
for people that are in these communities. So building a establishment, which we're going to talk more about, which V3 is giving
Yeah.
people the opportunity to do a number of a lot of things, you know.
Hmm.
So kind of talk towards
Yeah.
a little bit of those challenges that you kind of spoke
Yeah.
towards.
Like every community, we face challenges. I
Yep.
think of like the park board system
Yep.
right now. There's a little bit of a challenge of that of growing up, we all played park board sports, whether
Mm-hmm.
it be football or whatever, and now that's not as big of a thing anymore. There's more
Mm-hmm.
travel. There's less structure around some of the sports.
Yep.
I think there's not many careers you can have living in North Minneapolis. Like you
Yep.
got to go downtown. You got to go
Yep.
to Edina or wherever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being able to create jobs and careers and those economic opportunities, also just commercial development in
Mm-hmm.
general. I talked about like we have a restaurant. There's no restaurant on Plymouth Avenue,
Yep.
and there's not many restaurants and sit down restaurants in North Minneapolis in general.
Yep.
So being able to create a space where it's healthy foods and you can have a space to meet
Yep.
or have a birthday dinner right in the community that you live in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's um, lots of great programs and community collaboration, but where I see the opportunity is to build the infrastructure so that we keep people here because there's things to do. There's destinations. There's places that you can meet
Mm-hmm.
and go for a jog or whatever it may
For
be,
sure.
and to be able to build that community together in community.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's what I say is the opportunity, and of course we got challenges with violence or
Mm-hmm.
the economic side, which I think being able to provide opportunities for jobs and careers. I think of like Summit Academy, who's teaching trades down the
Mm-hmm.
street from us and creating job opportunities for our families and our that's the best way to combat these challenges is
Yep.
to be able to provide opportunity for our community to take advantage to make money.
Yep. Yep. And you actually kind of took the words right out of my mouth where I was about to go next. I just really want to know, where did it kind of start? Like, because now, like, before we kind of jump into um the student athlete journey of where I'm going to
Yeah.
take it, but specifically, before we be going to the student athlete journey of being a collegiate athlete, like, where did that start of, like, identifying and addressing economic disparities? That's exactly what you was just kind of talking about. But
Yeah.
were you already on top of it, as a high schooler, being in middle school, or, or was that something that you kind of got brought up to game once you were kind of,
Yeah.
in college, and then coming back to the community and saying, like, this is a space that I definitely want to make a change? Like, where did
Yeah.
that start?
Man, I was only thinking league. That was the only thing
Mm-hmm.
that's ever been on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the family that I come from is so committed to community. It's kind of just ingrained in me. It's
Yep.
like it's in my DNA.
Yep.
And I would say being able to go to University of Iowa and Western Michigan opened my eyes to so much more.
Yep. Yep.
And I think about how I got there.
Yep.
And being able to have the opportunity and the parents to bring me to Maple Grove
Yep.
to go train with the
Yep.
best trainers, or to be able to go to the University of Minnesota and train with college guys and NFL guys and Larry Fitzgerald and those guys. And those opportunities forced me to develop in a way that I was able to be a really good high school player
Yep.
and get scholarships
Yep.
and go on. I mean, there's only a few, I would say, Northsiders that made it to the D1 level for football. And I was one of the first ones after a while to go to a Big Ten school. And, there's been some after me, but
Yeah.
it was, just those opportunities in college
Yep.
shaped my mind and see
Yep.
there's so much more.
Yep.
I see what Target Field is doing. I see what's happening in Blaine
Yep.
at their sports center. They do $1 million weekends for the Blaine economy.
Yep.
And we shouldn't have to go there to have that same experience. And
Yep.
our kids shouldn't be shocked when they see a nice facility and they throw their game off because
Yep.
the facility's so nice,
Yep.
right? That's what they're accustomed to.
Yep.
And be able to create that home court advantage, not only for our kids, but for our families.
Yep. 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 I agree, bro. And like, conversation is just so, like, on point. Like, pretty much, again, where I was gonna take it was the
Yeah.
student athlete journey, but it's pretty much talking about where I was gonna go is unimaginable places.
Yeah.
Being a student athlete, playing ball, or playing football, whatever sport, but specifically, you one of my football brothers, because a lot of us see it from a different lens, but I can almost feel like I'm resonating with you already, because
Yeah.
me being in these different areas of where football took me helped shape my mind.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
in so many different ways to make me be the person who I am today.
Yeah.
And to continue to persevere.
Yeah.
So in the second thing I was gonna say, so the first word for the people, like I told you guys, I know we in V3 establishment. So the first word of being on a perfected progression platform, the first word was vitality. Second word now is valuable. Valuable. So as me saying that word, that's kind of that meaning would be qualities worthy of respect and admiration. So the only reason I bring that up now is because, again, with me having Malik on my platform, when I got to meet him, I already know that, I already knew that with me kind of being around him, this person was a person who was of value, a person who I could be around and, definitely be beneficial towards each other when it came to quality. I love to be around quality people.
Yeah.
And the more people you surround yourself around like that, I feel like your circle will become, just a mirror of that.
Right.
So
Right.
just kind of want to say that. So now as we go into
Appreciate
the student athlete journey,
Yeah.
like I said, unimaginable place. I kind of touched on it a little bit. You touched on you kind of going from, and that's what I want to touch on a little bit too. You going to University of Iowa and then transferring to Western Michigan. I went to University of Minnesota here. And then I eventually transferred to a community college, Independence Community College. And then I graduated from Murray State down in Kentucky. So
Yeah.
I've been a little bit everywhere. I've been D1 level, JUCO, D1 AA. So I kind of wanted you to talk about, these unimaginable places of you going from University of Iowa and then, you kind of transferring and making those connections, which we're going to get into, but making those connections and being at Western.
Man, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
I say it was a journey, man. I love football. I still do to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can't imagine tackling nobody today. But I'll be looking at them guys like you got teammates that's in the league, and I can't believe they out there running full speed and tackling each other. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not it.
Yep.
But for the bag, baby, I don't know. So like I said, so when I was coming into high school, North High School is my home school. And there was 35 kids in the school at the time. The school board had basically voted to close it. And I played football. You got 35 kids in the school. We can't field a team, right? And it ain't going to be a good team. So what happened was the administration from North went to Cooper in New Hope. And they basically took all of us with them. So we ended up going to Cooper. Our principal, Mr. Favors, was at Cooper. The head coach at North ended up being the offensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator was the D coordinator for North High. And it kind of shifted to the trajectory of the entire Cooper High School because it went from kind of like a basketball school to a football school.
The majority of people at Cooper that's really supposed to be North kids, you would say.
Yeah, probably still to this day, yeah. And I mean that's the story of all these high schools. You think of Hopkins and all those. Mark Northside kid, he win a championship for Hopkins. He's supposed to do that at North,
right?
But
Mark Will.
But they had opportunities for us outside of the community. They took buses away. So there was no school buses. If you wanted to go to school, either you had to walk or catch the city bus. And these other schools, Cooper, for example, start calling. They like, shit, we'll give you a bus. We got food for you. We got all these opportunities, and we got this nice facility and all these things. And we was able to go to Cooper and excel and kind of shift that program around. So it really started at Cooper when it really took off. I actually even rewind to like the PAL days. I was a PAL kid, and we, won championships every year in the park board, or competed for a championship. And those, again, a lot of my best friends. A lot of people went one way. Some people went another way. But that's pivotal to my journey because now I'm able to connect with everybody. I'm able to connect with people that, have maybe had challenges in life, and still face those challenges. And I connect with those people that persevered through those challenges. And everybody's persevering, but able to persevere to a higher or a more, I would say, stable life. So, being able to maneuver with anybody that I talk to has been a great lesson, and I credit like Powell and my upbringing in North Minneapolis to that because it's literally right here. You got that whole range of folks that live in North Minneapolis. So I'm long-winded, but Powell, then going to Cooper, being able to be a top 2 player in the state was I was a safety. Literally 150 pounds, sucker wet, playing safety, just balling, and had probably 30 offers. And I had offers from Big Ten schools.
You came out when?
2013.
2013. Yep.
Big Ten schools, a couple SEC, ACC. I had kind of like a lot of the Power 5 conferences, and picked Iowa because one, they had a history of sending DBs to the league. And 2, there was no pro teams there. So like you was the pro team.
You was the pro
so
team.
like we had that focal point on.
The atmosphere was crazy.
It was a different type of vibe, right? Like I couldn't get that in most places. And every game sold out. People really are diehard fans, and there wasn't too much competition outside of Iowa State. Like either you was an Iowa fan or Iowa State, and we had more fans than them. So
Yep.
it was kind of like, all right, you can go here. It's like a basically an NFL kind of situation, and it's gonna give you the best opportunity to go to the league.
Yep.
During that time, I really didn't fit into the culture. Like I was, I redshirted my freshman year, so I was a redshirt. Then redshirt freshman year, I played a little bit, got on the field, and prior to going forward from that, going in the spring ball, now I start balling. So I got a chance. I got a chance to start or whatever this year, and I ended up getting into that third corner spot.
Yep.
And and this was a different time then, right? Like now I see corners out there, they 170, 175. When I was playing, they like, you gotta be 190, 195.
Yep.
They want you all beefed up, and that shit was just never my stature.
Right.
Like, I was never getting to 190
Right.
or 185. Like I never hit none of that. So they immediately moved me to corner from safety. So I had to learn a new position.
You came in at safety and then you transitioned to
First
corner.
day, stood on that scale.
Yep.
That motherfucker said 155.
Yep.
They said, yeah, you're going to corner, man. They gonna kill you out here, man. You gotta go to corner.
You can get in the box with 155.
Yeah, they said they gonna kill you out here, man. So I ended up gaining, 20 pounds quick. They moved me to corner. I had to learn a new position.
Yep.
And about time going into my redshirt sophomore year, I started to really pick it up and was in that third corner spot. And it just wasn't feeling right, man. It was like every day I'm like killing myself trying to make weight, and the environment was kind of toxic.
Yep.
And I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Yep.
So I go from like I'm about to play to I ain't doing this. I'm gone. Like, I was like, how I get, like sometimes you get into that like depressed mode. I'm like, I gotta just switch my whole environment. I'm just not even feeling football right now.
Yep.
And then I decided to transfer. It's before transfer portals. You had to sit out a year when you transfer and all that. So I went from, possibly playing Big Ten as a starter to transfer, sitting out a year. And that was a tough year. And then went to Western Michigan. And crazy part about it is my freshman year, we beat Western 55-0. That was the first time I heard of Western. 55-0. And 2-3 years later, I'm at Western Michigan.
Yep. That's a crazy journey. I'm over here just resonating because when I came in, I got recruited as a safety, and I came into college probably like at 190, and this has always been my stature. I've never been like a yoked up type person, but usually when I got into Minnesota, the DBs was almost like 205, 205 plus probably. Yeah. So I already felt like I need to put on weight to feel a part to be in the Big Ten and play safety or whatnot. So I remember I got up to almost like 210. I didn't feel comfortable. at 210. Yeah. My playing weight was like 202.
Man, I ain't never seen a 2.
Never seen the 2? Yeah. But that's just you sound like my boy. Of course you know him. Tristan Jackson, his brother Obi. Yeah. Obi Jackson. Shout out to Obi. But like that's what we about to go into right now. Just connections. Yeah. I want you to speak a little bit more about connections because as you transferred to Western Michigan, again, like me being here in Minnesota, I went to school here, but I've been officially, being here and staying here for about 3 years now. And I felt like I almost know everybody. Yeah. But I just met you, a few months back. We've been knowing each other for about, 7-8 months now. Yeah. And, when they entered, when Vontae was telling me about you, I'm like, man, I don't even know Malik. Like, I don't know him. I've never seen him. Yeah. And he was telling me all the good things that you was doing in the community. I'm like, yeah. He like, man, y'all two definitely got to connect because y'all kind of on that same type of vibe, So I'm like, like introduce me and then, I'll take it from there. So kind of talk a little bit more about, the thing is like unimaginable places. That's where football will kind of take you. And then it'll also help you, with your connections, with your networking. And then, because of course, once you graduate college, some of the guys that you was in school with, you're not going to see them no more because everybody from different areas. But it's always good to, build those connections and have that network. Mm-hmm. So I kind of want you to talk a little bit more about the value of networking and connecting
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, first of all, they're my brothers, man.
Mhm.
So I went to when I transferred from Iowa, I had to sit out that year, which was their freshman year.
Yep.
So when the team was playing, we was outside.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like I was
Yep.
able to bond with them really early on.
Yep.
And plus, I think I was about 21 at the time, so they sending me to the store. They like,
Yep.
yeah, we to the liquor store.
Yep.
But yeah, I got to really bond with them that year.
Mhm.
As Vate and Obi, they both redshirted,
Mhm.
and I was sitting out that year, so we was able to just kind of really grind together and kind of go through that year. I had already went through a redshirt year, so I could have understood where they was at,
Yep.
and um, I don't talk to them that often, but when I see them, it's all
All love.
love, and
Yep.
I was excited to see them here
Yep.
and be able to kick it with them again. I talk to them here and there on socials and things, but yeah, those my brothers, and
Mhm.
um, I say so. When I was what was I, a senior
Mhm.
at Western,
Mhm.
we played USC,
Mhm.
and when we play USC, I feel like this is like a pivotal moment in my life
Mhm.
because you go from Eastern time frame to West Coast time frame,
Yep.
and
Oh, y'all went to USC.
yeah,
Yep. 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 Yep.
so um we had a alumni who's a billionaire.
Mhm.
His name is Alec Gores,
Mhm.
and his brother actually owns the Pistons.
Mhm.
Um, and what happened was he's a big. They had some type of battle between Western alums and USC alums, and then they created this game. And this is after we had went 13-0. This is the first game after we went 13-0.
Yep.
We had a new coach and all that, but um, one of the days he threw a party for us.
Yep.
And I kid you not, walk in, Terry Crews right there.
What? Man.
Eddie Murphy is his neighbor. We all in the hills. We looking at crazy shit. It is
Yep.
like literally a $30 million, $40 million crib in the hills.
Yep.
And I went to the bathroom. I came out. Somebody came in and clinked it. I said, nah, I gotta see that again. So I sat right there. I'm like, nah, that ain't just happened.
Yep.
And then somebody else went in. So enough, went right back in there and clinked it.
Yep.
I said,
Crazy.
I ain't never seen no shit like that before.
Yeah.
And then all of the paper towels had his like name and brand on it.
Yeah.
So it's like the little thing. I'm like, nah, this different.
Mhm.
Then I went to into the house. He had a winery as big as this whole space right here.
Yep.
Like a wine cellar.
Mhm.
And it just fascinated me. I've never seen a house like that before.
Yep.
You see them on TV, but you don't think that's like real.
Yeah.
But it came realistic.
Yeah.
Once I seen somebody, I felt like
The
I
whole
knew
team was over
the
there.
whole team, like literally his
Vontae
whole
never
back,
told me this story.
his whole backyard. But
What?
I ain't appreciate it when I was there.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it now because that's the first time I've been around a billionaire.
Yeah.
He told me like nobody in here worth less than $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And like if I knew what I knew now, I would have navigated that space a lot different.
little bit different. Yep.
But
Yep.
that gets back to like the networking and
Yep.
and the building relationships and taking advantage of your opportunities. And that's one of those ones that opened my eyes to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, but like the game was cool, but I remember that a lot more vivid
Yep.
than anything else football related. He had us at Universal Studios. We seen a Tom Cruise movie a year early. Like we watched it a year early, and like this little, it was different.
Crazy. Yeah,
it was different. Like I didn't know this was like life, and being able to get into that space allowed me to go from being that POW kid, that hustler kid, this Northside kid, to hanging out with all these people that have money, power, status, and they were, they didn't seem any smarter than I was, or they didn't seem like, they did anything too crazy. So it made me feel like, okay, I could do that. So like it opened up my mind and opened up the hustle, and it showed me a couple years later when I'm thinking about it, like the power of networking, because
Yep.
that game came about
Yep.
because of two people
Yep.
from these two different schools really just wanted to see it,
Yep.
and they had the money to make it happen.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and I think what kind of stood out. There was a lot of things that stood out to me right there, bro. But I think now, what I want to talk about now is just like the value of education. So now we're talking about networking and connecting, being blessed and gifted to have the skill set that we have and have recruiters to come out and offer us scholarships. At the time, I'm gonna let you know right now, at the time, like, of course I was thankful to have a scholarship, but I didn't know how thankful I was until I probably got to school and kids was telling me how much they spending probably for their tuition and things of that nature. So now it was molding my mindset around a lot of different stuff, so now I kind of want to pivot to like just the value of education, and capitalizing on your opportunities. When you redshirt or whenever you do, you can have an opportunity to get your master's and do a number of different things that a lot of us, especially, my friends that I grew up with and guys where I'm from, we don't necessarily know how to navigate those spaces until probably our senior year. Now we got to figure out, because everything we fixated around is, boy, I want to go and do my pro day. My year coming out was, again, I graduated 2019, but that's COVID year.
Ooh,
so I really didn't have no pro day. COVID kicked off March, April. So I didn't have a pro day. So, being in that space, it was more so like, okay, like we only thought COVID was gonna be going for like maybe a week or two, but that was a whole deal. That was a whole deal.
I remember that.
So
when Buddy was doing all that, Rudy
Yep.
Gobert canceled everything.
Canceled everything. So it's like, man, you gotta know, again, I mean, you kind of gotta know what you wanna, your skill set. I'm a natural networker, but at the same time, I knew spaces that I wasn't good in. I wasn't good with just communicating. I feel like I still need to be better with communicating, but putting yourself in spaces that you're not comfortable in is pivotal. Like you have to do that, to make sure, that you're continuously growing. You're trying to perfect progression where you got to be in uncomfortable spaces for you to continue to be on the path that you want to be in, so that's a big thing. And I think, just as I bring it back, the value of education, I kind of wanted you to talk a little bit more about, because I remember we was kind of talking at, what was it, Mara? You took me to?
Yep. Shout out Gavin.
Yep. So we was talking about just the value of education, the things that, would be helpful towards things that I might want to get into, but kind of talk to me about the value of education, getting your degree, how it can help, things of that nature. Because I know we got a number of different, my audience is very, very diverse, and I'm a coach out here as well. Coach at, this is going to be my first year coaching at De La Salle High School, defensive backs coach. But, before that, I'm out here coaching the community too with Hitman 7-on-7. So that's another thing too. So I know I got a lot of young kids that's going to be like looking at you, and looking to kind of hear some things about, value of education outside of the sports.
Shout out my little nephew Eric too. He on the Hitman squad. Education is never ending, and I think you hit on something of like, your strengths, your weaknesses, and to be able to address what you don't know with people who do know it, or be around those, or to tap into the networks of folks. I think that is one of the biggest skill sets that anybody can have, is to understand what they don't know, and to be able to address those. But education for me goes back again to North Minneapolis. I was a Harvest Prep kid. Harvest Prep was an Afrocentric school. We sang Lift Every Voice and Sing every day. We went to little pep rallies, and what we did was sing Nas, I Know I Can, every day. And having those, I remember those, and those they still affect me to this day when I think about it. Like, I know I can. Like that's ingrained in me. And the other thing is I didn't have a white teacher. Everybody thinks Minnesota was just so white. I didn't have a white teacher until I was in like 5th grade. And I've never had a white principal. I've only had black men as principals. And even at Western Michigan, the president is black. So I've had a really unique experience in Minnesota. Not only from like, just as a black person in Minnesota, I have a very unique experience around education, because a lot of the administration and leaders and teachers and support staff that are around were Black men and women.
Yep. And it's
And
good to see that.
yeah,
Definitely good to see that.
and I remember too. So this is when everything changed for me too. So I'm about sophomore going into my junior year. I was a starter on varsity. You know, I'm thinking I'm tight, and my coach Willie Howard, um, he put all of our GPAs up in his meeting, like name, GPA, everything. Like we all just looking like, you got a 1 point what?
Yep.
You know, like it was like,
Yep.
damn.
When you out on Front Street.
Put us out on Front Street,
Yep.
and
Yep.
he said, "Y'all ain't going to college with these GPAs. Y'all think y'all finna go to college with these GPAs? You crazy?" And I had plans on going to play D1, but shit, I didn't know if it was gonna happen or not. But I knew I had to put myself in a position to do it. So then I had to start to focus on the education a little bit different.
Yep.
And I remember after my junior year, Stanford came to visit me. They walked in, walked out
Because of the grade.
because of my grade. Literally, they walked into school, got the transcript, and walked out. I ain't never talked to them.
Yep.
Because of the grades. And I mean, it wasn't too. I couldn't have got all A's for the rest of my high school career, made it to Stanford. But the education is so powerful. I graduated from Cooper, went to Iowa, but then ended up losing a year of my schooling from the transfer. So if I would have did 5 years at one school, I would have left Western Michigan with a master's degree. But instead, I left with a bachelor's degree in sport management, which is still good. But I could have had a master's degree if I would have did the 5 years straight.
Right.
But education got elevated for me when I went to hear Kevin Warren speak, who is the CEO of the Bears. And he said he was, I think how he described it was he adopted a school. And in my head, I'm like, this dude worked for the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not really correlating like the Vikings having people that ain't players with enough cash to adopt a school. And I ain't counting his pocket, but I'm assuming it cost something.
Right.
Right. And that really intrigued me around the sport business.
Yep.
And I started to network and meet everybody possible. I actually met Kevin and was able to kind of just talk through it. And I really got fixated with the business of sport.
Yep.
And what it can do for communities. And that's where you kind of see the ideas around V3 of economic impact, community development, health and wellness, education, financial stability, all of those things. And so what happened was I started to really like look into who these executives were in these front offices that weren't on the sports side. And all of them had business degrees, masters in business, lawyers. They used former agents. They, went through this whole educational background. And I didn't have none of that. I didn't have the business acumen. I was sitting in meetings. I didn't know what people was talking about. And I just didn't like that. So when COVID hit, when everybody else was outside partying, I went back to school. I said, I'm finna take this time where people is kind of a little bit more relaxed. I'm finna take this time. I'm gonna further my education. I'm gonna get my master's in business. And that's what I did. So I went back to school. I got an MBA with a sport entertainment concentration. And I was able to do that through a program at the University of North Texas that was partnered with the Dallas Cowboys. So I was able to get firsthand experience, kind of secondhand experience with Cowboys executives, helping us do case studies and how they grew the business to be what it is, which is the most valuable sport franchise and sport brand in the world.
Yeah.
And to be able to learn those and how Jerry Jones had transformed Frisco and how he started venue naming rights and how that became a staple and sponsorship became a staple. It's a whole business under these institutions and organizations. So education is valuable. It never stops. Literally every day I wake up, I read a couple articles, try to read a chapter a day. I'm listening to podcasts. Uh, main thing I can do is just listen. I know I don't know shit, so I'm just trying to absorb as much as possible to be the best person I can be.
Yeah. Malik over here dropping jewels. I hope y'all listening, man. For real. Like
Yeah.
he teaching me, and again, like that's the biggest reason why you want to surround yourself around people that know more than you, so you can continue to step in the right direction, and continue to have that network of people around you that want to be just as good, as the next person. So I definitely appreciate Malik dropping some of them jewels. And then as we transition to the last V letter word, so I gave you guys again vitality, valuable, and now I'm gonna give you guys visionary. So that's what Malik is. That's what he's doing here at V3. That's the last 3-letter or V letter word. That's the third letter word or third word. I'm sorry, I'm misspeaking right now, but visionary. That's what I want to give y'all. And visionary, that would be planning the future with imagination or wisdom. That's Malik, and I seen that soon as I met him. And it's crazy because I feel like me getting around, usually when I get around people, it don't take me too long to really evaluate a person. I'm always evaluating my environment. That's just me. I have a knack for as soon as I'm in a room with a person, it probably gonna take me like maybe 30 minutes to an hour, especially if we communicate. And I already know, like, it's not even I want to use it. I want you to know me because I want to be your guy. I want to be your friend. I want to network. So hopefully y'all listening, man. He definitely dropping some jewels, and definitely want to give you a shout out and give you your praise, man. Definitely kind of did some of my research, but with achievement. So me kind of giving you guys that visionary. This space is me kind of talking about his achievements and things of that nature. But 40 under 40, the 50 black leaders you need to know in the space of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then the Star of the North. Those are very, very big achievements for you to receive and accolades for you to receive. And I just kind of want to give you your praise for that, because that's definitely big for things that you're doing. So I wanted you to kind of touch on quickly, if you can, just with receiving those accolades. There had to be some type of foundation that had to be laid. So we kind of went through your upbringing. We went through student athlete, going through school, the value of education. Now you back in the community. So before you got these accolades, what did that foundation look like that you had to lay for you to begin to be looked at as a public figure, receiving this recognition? So if you could talk about that for a little minute, then we can transition right into the establishment of what we in right now, V3.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it really starts at the foundation of the household I grew up in. My mom was a single parent with 3 kids, and had 3 kids before she ever went to college. And I was able to watch her start college, finish college, go back to college, get a master's degree, and watched her climb the ranks of the organizations that she's worked with, and now she has her own company. Being able to see that, hustle, that grind. I think of when I was getting my MBA, and I'm thinking, man, this shit hard. And I think, like, my mom did this with 3 kids. I'll be all right. Is that foundation of just like knowing that you can do it because you've seen it. I've seen it right in my house every day. And that's a blessing. So I think bringing it back to that, to the experiences that I've had in North Minneapolis, and the experiences that I've had being a student athlete and being able to get the education that I've had, I think I learned really early that who you know is very important, and who knows you is even more important. And
it's not cliche.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, and I didn't want to cut you off, but it's cliche. I say this all the time to the kids, or to my partners. Like, as cliche as we hear, it's not what you know, it's who you know. The older I get and the more I network with people, that's truly the name of the game. So I ain't mean to cut you off, bro.
Hey, you ain't lying. is so important. Is and as Black folks for sure, because we relational people.
Right.
And uh, I will say, when I was networking and I wanted to get into the sport business, and I said I met everybody possible in the sport
Yep.
industry,
Yep.
which I got an internship with the Minnesota Twins.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to do community relations with the Minnesota Twins, and it allowed me to break into the sport industry. And at the same time, I'm still networking the industry. I'm still meeting all these people, and I would say building that network solid. Like I was hustling, I'm still hustling, but like having that hustle and that grit and bringing value to people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Set you apart.
set you apart, right? Like I always ask people, how can I help? How can I help you?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're gonna think about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I just want to talk to you and I just want something all the time, you just become a burden. But if I'm also bringing value to somebody or a person or institution or organization, they're gonna think of me when these opportunities come about. And with V3, I knew like going into 2024, this was gonna be my year because I already knew about the 40 under 40. I knew about the Twin Cities business leaders. I knew about some of the other accolades, and I knew we was breaking ground on V3. And I knew those were a lot of big milestones in a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that the responsibility that I have
Mm-hmm.
with V3 was just gonna continue to elevate. Like, who is this dude? He's a younger dude. Who is this young dude doing this over in North Minneapolis? Who is doing this across the street from my house, or whatever it may be? So I knew that came with a lot of responsibility. I come to the point where like I go outside. I don't remember everybody that I've met, or people know me who I don't know, and that comes with uh, a lot more responsibility and awareness that you have to have. I can't move the same way I was moving 2 3 years
Yep.
ago.
Yep.
I got to be a lot more strategic about where I spend my time, and I think I knew that this was gonna be a big year. I didn't know that. I thought V3 was gonna blow up, which it is, but I didn't know that my personal brand was gonna blow up as well
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. But the accolades help expedite that, and
Yep.
I think people have those years in life where you're like, that's that year that changed my life. I think that's gonna be this year for me because
Sure.
of all the things that we went through to get to this, to getting this phase open. And
Yep.
um, I was the first staff member ever of V3. We got 70 staff now. People getting paid in our community, careers in our community, and kids are able to go to the Boys and Girls Club free. Like it took a lot of hustle and thought and intention to be able to accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
And now a I have influence, and I need to use that to keep elevating the community.
Yep. 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 So let's get to it, man. V3, phase one has opened. I was blessed enough to go. Malik took me and my guys here for One Goal Media. Aaron and Allen took us on a tour. Definitely appreciated that.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of talk to us, man. Like, let us know. Phase one is open, but kind of let us know
Yeah.
what V3 is. Like I guess I got it kind of organized, but give us like the V3 mission. Like, what's the V3 mission? Let's start off there, or you can you can run with it. Just let's talk about V3 now. That's what we need to talk about, and kind of open up more eyes to this establishment over here over in North Minneapolis, man. So let's get to it.
Yeah, we use the word elevate a lot around here, and our mission is to elevate our community through wellness, fitness, and education.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing that through the V3 Center,
Mm-hmm.
which we describe as a community-inspired health and wellness center. And um, it's all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But when we think of wellness, we think of it holistically, from
Yep.
financial wellness, physical wellness, mental wellness, all the different ways to be well. And V3 is a special place. It's you walk in and you look at a mural and you see a black woman. You look at the art and you see black artists.
Mm-hmm.
When we built this space, we used a lot of North Side and black owned businesses. Tri Construction, LSC Architects was one of the biggest black-owned architect firms in the Midwest, and we won an AIA Architecture Award
Mm.
for this project
Yep.
with Northsiders.
Yep.
We had a pretty significant minority participation rate on the construction, 500 jobs there. And we're opening up a restaurant, black owned, Northside residents. Our painters, Show Me Painting, black Northside. Our furniture, Ideal Commercial Solutions, black Northside.
Yep.
And we did it like literally for us, by us.
Yep.
From the design to the operation. And I'm very proud of that because that's millions of dollars going back into our community. Like I often tell funders, like, yeah, we're raising a lot of money, but look what else you're doing. It's not just stopping here. You're also helping you're also helping LSC grow their businesses. Show Me Painting grow their businesses. Ideal Commercial Solutions. Commercial furniture is expensive, right? And they're able to participate in that. And you look at our aquatics team, the people that's doing the lessons. Look at our lifeguards. It's a lot of community members, and that's what V3 is all about. It's all about building community, facilitating community, and we do that in this space, and we do it out of this space. We're in community. You'll see us at events. You'll see us, just getting random input. Or I talked about the plaza out there that was designed by our youth.
Yep.
Just think about an 11-year-old at the time, and now they're 14, and they can see their design implemented in a big project and a very important project, and a place that they use every day. So that's what we all about, man. It's just building community, doing it through this space, being able to be here, and we grand opened June 22nd. We had a free dance class on the plaza today, so there's opportunity to be here from either free up to about $51 a month. So get here, get near ASAP. We here every day, 7 days a week. There's something for you here for all ages, as young as 6 weeks.
Yep. And I was gonna say, if you wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the facility programs, I know you talked a little bit about the membership services, how people can be involved here at V3, but some of the facility programs that's within phase one, if you want to talk a little bit more about that so people can kind of be more aware and knowledgeable around that space, I think that'll be helpful.
For sure. So I talked about the Boys and Girls Club during the school year. It's out of school time, STEAM education, experiential learning is free. The kids also get lessons and fitness classes, and they're here during the school year 1 to 8. Summertime now, they're here 8 to 5. So we got that program going. We also do a lot around fitness. We have group fitness classes. We have a bunch around aquatics, and so we built our own swim curriculum. And what that looks like, it is built off of research from Dr. Ayana Raku, and it is based on why Black mothers swim and why they don't. As a part of our mission is water safety, and we want to teach every third grader in the state to swim, and waterproofing them to be able to save themselves if they get into a drowning situation, or just to be able to just enjoy the lake. So we built that curriculum. Swim to Learn is the main one, and that's all about learning to swim. It's very reflective, it's responsive, it's asking how you feel about the water today. We don't just throw people in the pool. We make sure they're comfortable. And if you're really excited about it, how do we build on that excitement? And that program's going. We do lessons. We also have Swim to Learn. So we built our own curriculum. Now we have to certify them in that. So we certify people in the swim program, but also to be lifeguards and to be instructors. And, we try to, this is swim to earn, and we try to teach them different opportunities to make money around water. What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
I talked about the VIP program. We went through the therapy pool, but caregivers and parents and babies
Mm-hmm.
getting in a warmer pool, 95 degrees, where the baby's able to acclimate to that. We do a bunch of other,
Yeah,
smaller
for
things
sure.
in here as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots going on. We do watch parties in the pool.
Yep.
We did an Olympic watch party in the pool a couple weeks ago. We'll do a movie in the pool soon.
Mm-hmm.
We try to activate the plaza, and there's just lots of opportunity
Yep.
to connect with community and to build. And as we've gotten up, the first from February to June, it's just been trying to get operational.
Yep.
How do we open? How do we close? Making sure people are trained up and providing a good experience for users. So
Yep.
going from that to now activating this space, and
Yep.
it's been cool to see.
For sure. And before we wrap up, my guy, if you want to talk a little bit about phase two,
Mhm.
phase two is another big opening that'll be coming up here pretty soon. But it's a lot of good things going on here at V3, and I just kind of wanted to make sure I give you that space,
Yeah.
and let people hear from the executive director about
Yeah.
these, great things that's going on here at V3. So if you want to talk a little bit about, phase two for a little bit, you definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Phase one is still getting used to phase one, but phase two is gonna be a whole different beast. I guess we're sitting in 40,000 square feet right now, and phase two is gonna be up to 200,000 more square feet, which is a big building.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in phase two, that's when we become the sports and event space,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll have 4 to 6 courts, multi-purpose. So you put some lines down. You got basketball, you got volleyball, you got pickleball, but you also got career fairs, conferences, galas, conventions, and um, with a beautiful view. So lots of glass, looking at the downtown skyline. To the left of that, we have one of 350 meters in the state. It was the pool that selected the USA team for the Tokyo
Hmm.
Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of the best pools in the world. We'll have the only 10-lane 50-meter right here in North Minneapolis. 1,000 spectator seats,
Mm-hmm.
400 on the deck for the athletes. 330-meter track that goes around the course and the pool.
Yep.
A lot more fitness space, so about 10,000 more square feet of fitness, and a whole lot of meeting spaces, conference spaces,
Yep.
places to convene, um, and event spaces. So it will be a true sports and event center. And what I'm really excited about is that we're gonna have people from all over the region and the
Mm-hmm.
nation and locally come to the V3 Center.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come to the V3 Center, we're gonna incentivize them to spend money with Northside businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and that's gonna help our businesses continue to scale and grow, um, and to stay open.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what does that look like? You come to a basketball tournament and you'll get a voucher
Yep.
and say, I'm going to this Northside businesses to redeem it.
Yep.
And I talked about Blaine doing $1 million weekends. We don't have the same infrastructure that a Blaine does to have $1 million weekends, but we can have that.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to have that tourism, just like downtown needs tourism, we need it as well on the north side. And I just think about a destination,
Mm-hmm.
not having to go to Hopkins or Eden Prairie for a basketball tournament.
Mm-hmm.
If we got the best teams, they need to be coming here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And being able to have parents catch the bus to see their kids play for the first time, or walk to see their kids play for the first time, and to be able to have that development from a young age to even past high school, and have the camps, the clinics, the all those things. So phase two, I could talk about that all day.
All
I'm
good.
really excited about it
All
because
good.
it's a big asset to
Mm-hmm.
North Minneapolis, the residents, the state, and the region.
Yep.
And we're hoping to break ground on that in the fall of 2025, and it'll be a 2-year build.
Yep.
And so sometime in 2027.
Good deal. Good deal, my guy. Well, at the end of the day, I do appreciate you for being on, the opening of season 2. Definitely appreciate you for that. And definitely go wrap up But again, you guys be on the lookout for episode 2 coming up here pretty soon. Definitely appreciate Malik, and appreciate again One Goal Media, and we'll be back at the platform here pretty soon, you guys. So be on the lookout.
Appreciate you.